السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Sharing the screen, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, brother Arif. Can you hear me? Connecting to audio.
Yeah, you can do it.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Let's hope we get some more people, inshallah. What is it going to be tomorrow, today and tomorrow? Probably we don't need Friday, just tomorrow we'll be finishing. What he did say all the Aqeedah items, and then he went to negate the others' understanding, and he went in details to many of the things he negated. So the book is actually 538 pages. So it's quite a lot in the book, which is obviously, usually students take them 2 years to finish Aqeedah in a university or an institution or something. But I think it's going to be difficult for us to carry on for 2 years. So what I'm going to do, inshallah, I'm going to choose a few of the things he explained in details, and probably we'll use today and tomorrow to address these things. So I picked here, he went into more details, talking about the face of Allah Azza wa Jal, the eyes, and seeing, and the hands, seeing and hearing, and the hands. Now, they are very important in Islam not to project our understanding to things onto Allah Azza wa Jal. That's in psychology, they call it projection. We project on others what we think ourselves. So this is not allowed in Islam, because Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Nothing is similar to Allah Azza wa Jal. And لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, nothing, even if you think of an example of Allah Azza wa Jal, there isn't. You can't have anything resemble Allah Azza wa Jal, or thinking of Allah as He is. And that causes in some people difficulty when it comes to Allah talking about Himself having a face, or having a hands, or having eyes, and seeing and hearing, and how He does that. Because they always try to project from their being to Allah Azza wa Jal. I need hearing to hear, and the sound comes, vibration come and hit my eardrum and go to my brain, whatever. That's not what Allah, the way He hears or see things. So this is very important that we don't project. So when we were talking about Allah Azza wa Jal, talk about Himself having eyes, you don't say He has eyes not like my eye, or He has eyes not like my eyes. You just say Allah Azza wa Jal knows what He meant, but to bring the understanding to us, He used terminology we have. But you shouldn't imagine Allah have 2 eyes in His head, in His face, or He has 10 eyes, or anything like this. So he went to the ayahs. He started with the face. كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ. Everything is going to perish, disappear, except the face of Allah. Now, why you cannot resemble Allah on you? Because if you take it literally, the face of Allah, like everything will go from you except your face, which means that only your face remains. But here, more metaphoric, except Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah, He used this because it's more emphasis in Arabic. All the faces will be melted, like all people will lose face except you, except me. It doesn't mean that we lose face. We lose metaphorically, we lose the dignity, we lose the our, like, honorability, and we lose face. We've been proved extremely wrong or something. You've done something really bad that you lost face. So that's كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه, and it doesn't mean either that he lost all of him except his face, nor it means that he has face like my face, or he has face not like my face, because you're not supposed to give your brain the chance to start imagining what Allah is, because you get nowhere. So when the shaitan brings you how Allah looks like, you say Amantu Billah, because Allah Azza wa Jalla said Laysa kamithlihi shay, you will get nowhere. And our teachers told us تفكروا في آلاء الله ولا تتفكروا في ذات الله. Think about the characters of Allah Azza wa Jalla, the signs of Allah Azza wa Jalla, and do not think of the personal existence of Allah. His that, his himself, his personal existence, not allowed to think about. So here he's addressing this in more details. Now we joined by Mudassar, Dr. Mudassar. So we went through the Aqeedah, Dr. Mudassar, all the Aqeedah of Ash'ariyah from A to Z. And then we went into the negating of Aqeedah to other people, the other people's Aqeedah, why wrong, like Mu'tazila and Jahmiya and Qadriya and Jabriya and Ahmadiyya and Baha'iyya, and even somehow the Shia, they have certain parts of Aqeedah wrong. And the same with the Wahhabi, they have certain parts of Aqeedah wrong. And the Aqeedah wrong with Wahhabi, they have problem with is giving Allah a body. They're called Mujassima. They give Allah a body. When they give Allah a body, they will give Allah the need to travel. It comes from above the throne down to earth, the third part of the night. And then they have a trouble when the earth is discovered to be round, and there's always third part of the night. Then he's always in the earth heaven. Then the arch above Allah Azza wa Jalla. Then they have trouble with that, because سبح اسم ربك الأعلى فمنهم من في السماء. Everything above you is your sama. So if he is in the earth heaven, then the arsh, the seventh heaven is above him, and the throne and the kursi. So this is the problem when you give Allah a body. And he's trying here to say that Allah said that he has a face, but it's Allah knows what he meant by. So I said yesterday we have three ways to interpret the Quran. Either we have tafsir, direct meaning, or metaphoric meaning, ta'weel, or we have tafweed. We leave it to Allah Azza wa Jal, because he knows what he meant by what he said. Allah bring the meaning closer to our understanding, but we shouldn't project from ourselves to Allah Azza wa Jal. I have a face, so Allah has a face. Because you will have difficulty. أينما تولوا فثم وجه الله. In Qibla, Allah said, wherever you face is the face of Allah Azza wa Jal. So is the face of Allah Azza wa Jal 360? Like a ball, I'm inside the ball? No. Then your brain start taking you into more and more, from wrong to more wrong to more wrong. So you stop here and say, Allah knows what he meant. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. نعم.
So just one thing, because I actually spoke to one of the shayukh which had kind of a Salafi background. My understanding is it's not that they put Allah in a body or something. So what I got from the sheikh is that he says, when you see in Quran that Allah says that he has got a hand, and his hand is done that, we say, yes, he has got a hand. How does that hand look like? What it means by hand, we don't know. But because he says that he has got a hand, so we say, yeah, he's got a hand, because Allah said so in his Quran. So who are we to say, no, it's not that kind of a hand, it's a different kind. So we just say, yes, Allah said he's got a hand. We say he's got a hand. We don't explain how.
What did he say? What did he say?
So that's what he said, that if it says Allah says, I
Yeah,
come down from the seventh heaven to first heaven, or if I sit on the kursi, we say, yeah, he sit on the kursi, but it doesn't mean how and when. We don't explain it, but we don't say, oh, he's not on the kursi.
Yeah, that's
because he said that.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I was going to say, so again, I was going to say, all this boils down to your level of education. Now, education doesn't have to be in Aqeedah or Islam. If you look at Britain, for example, metaphor and use of metaphoric literature is everywhere. You get that in poem, like I was saying a couple of weeks ago. You know, someone says, oh, he touched the sky. Well, you can't touch the sky, but he's using it in a metaphoric way. And same with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes. We know he's a being, and you can't see, you know, he's got attributes that, you know, not visible to us, and he physically doesn't exist. So
Yeah.
I think in some parts of the world, they take the literal meaning. Oh, someone said Allah's got eyes, and he can see what we're doing.
My question is, would be, it's not really saying that it takes literal meaning. It means that they say, why you would deny of the things which Allah has said himself about him.
Yeah.
Or try to explain it.
Yeah.
So they would say, if Allah said, I got two right hands, then he's got two right hands, and we don't explain how and when and where. So we don't put him in a body. We just say, Allah said himself that he has got two right hands. Why would you say he doesn't have two right hands?
Yeah, but then again, that's when you got to understand the meaning. It's a metaphoric term, and we are fortunate enough to.
I understand. I'm just giving their point that they say
right.
we don't explain how he has got two right hands.
You made the point, brother, from the
Sorry.
What you were not with us yesterday, were you?
No. I came a bit late, but
no. Yeah, because I mentioned the difference between the way Imam Malik explained istiwa, which is similar also when you explain face and hands and things, and the way Ibn Taymiyyah explained istiwa. Ibn Taymiyyah came around 600 years after Imam Malik, and the Salafi should actually follow the Salaf, Imam Malik, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and Shafi'i and Hanafi. They are far ahead of Ibn Taymiyyah. Imam Malik, when somebody came to him asked about istiwa, he said to him, al-istiwa'u ma'ruf. Istiwa in Arabic language, and the meaning is known. You know, you overcome something, you dominate something, you sat on something, you know, control something. Istiwa, dominated something. Al-istiwa'u ma'ruf, known. The meaning of the word known. Well, kayf, how, is غير معقول. We cannot comprehend it. We are unable to understand what istiwa means to Allah Azza wa Jal. What Ibn Taymiyyah says, well, istiwa'u majhul, istiwa unknown, and that's the wrong. Because your brain will start thinking, unknown, there must be istiwa, there's something, you know, similar to my istiwa, but it's different, and istiwa'u majhul. It's not majhul, it's not unknown, it's beyond our comprehension. And this is why we go now to the third one, not metaphoric, we go to the Tafweed. We leave it to Allah Azza wa Jal because He knows what He meant by istiwa. So the problem with Ibn Taymiyyah is mixed up. Sometimes he refuses ta'weel, and sometimes he doesn't use Tafweed. He gives, and this is why they say, he said he has a hand. What it look like is not like my hand, but it is a hand of Allah Azza wa Jal, the way it looks to Allah Azza wa Jal. Imam Malik will say, understanding that is beyond our comprehension. We just stop, not at all try to understand what he meant by hand. Because you might use metaphoric, say like the hand of the government and the hand of the police, but that's, you might, in saying that, you might deny that Allah has a hand, and He said He has a hand. So the best way for describing the hand and the face and the eyes and the hearing and the talking is Allah knows what He meant by it. We use Tafweed. We leave it to Allah. And that relieves us from the effort of understanding or imagining what that hand looks like. So this is a way which our teachers taught us to use Tafweed. We just leave it to Allah Azza wa Jal. He knows what's meant by it. And Allah said in the Quran, when the day when His Taiweel of the Quran comes, on that day the Kafirin will regret rejecting the belief. So Allah Azza wa Jal knows that some of the meaning will be kept to the day of judgment. And even the meaning revealed from time to time to people. When you coming in the middle, as I said, He comes down in the middle of the last third of the night. If you take it as He said He comes down, it means He comes down. That will put them in trouble when the earth is round and He's always down. So what do you say? He's not far away to come down, but He said He came down. He knows what He meant. So that's how we address it. And that, subhanAllah, has a lot of implication, because you're feeling that Allah has a near you become easy to accept. While if you know Allah is far, far away above the throne, then the human will think Allah is far away, can't do whatever I want. He might not notice me. They give you that feeling that you can get away with major sins sometimes. This is why I noticed, I lived in between the Wahhabi 4 years, and you see them, they do two opposite things. You will see him going to the mosque 5 times a day, and in the evening he sit and drink alcohol. And how you can combine both? What's your feeling about Allah Azza wa Jal? He's there in the mosque and He's seeing you, He's now asleep or something, and they give them for some, I mean, I don't know, I mean, how many lived with the Wahhabi and suffered like me. Probably all of them enjoyed living there, but I didn't. I used to clash with them a lot in the way they run their life and the way they treat us. They treat us like if we're kuffar and unbelievers, dirt or something, and they give us pennies, and they give themselves, they have 2-3 tier system in there. But this is Aqeedah. Aqeedah is, this is what I'm saying, Aqeedah takes, it's 538 pages, the Aqeedah Ash'ariyya, Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari. And obviously we can no longer, we can't go through all of them, but we have picked the main skeletons of Aqeedah. So when he coming with we stop short from giving it an image, we stop short from denying it. Mu'tazila denied it, he said. Mu'tazila denied that Allah sees or hears. They said He created the world. And he was answering people who are deviated from Islam. This is why he brought it. He brought more details. He brought more about the Quran as well. So ويبقى فأخبر أنه سبحانه وتعالى وجها لا يفنى ولا يلحقه الهلاك. As a face, it doesn't perish, doesn't disappear. تجري بأعيننا, the ship of the ship of Nuh will sail under our eyes of vision. واصنع الفلك بأعيننا, make the ship while we are observing you, under our observation and inspiration. موحينا. So he's confirming he has eyes, he have face, and then he confirmed that فأخبر تعالى أنه الوجه عين لا تكيف ولا تحدد. You can't say this is how he has eyes or face, or eyes or face. لا تكيف. الكيف غير معقول. That's the how is beyond our comprehension, and that's the difference between Imam Malik and Imam Ibn Hanbal, and on the other hand Ibn Taymiyyah. For some reason Wahhabi took Ibn Taymiyyah and they dropped Hanbali, although they say they are Salafi and belong to Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. When it comes to Aqeedah, they're more in keeping with Aqeedah Wasitiyah, which is the Ibn Taymiyyah Aqeedah. And they didn't take the Aqeedah Ash'ariyah, which is the Ibn Hanbal Aqeedah. Because here he said, Abu al-Hasan al-Ash'ari, he said this is the Aqeedah of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. and he was his teacher and things. So this is, he said, وَلَا تُحَدَّدْ, and you don't give it any definitions with regard to size or edges or depth or height or where. You don't locate, and you don't say how. You just leave it to Tafweed. Allah Azza wa Jalla said He has, we accept He has, but we stop there. We don't go beyond that, because it will clash very quickly with other parts of the Quran and other parts of the Hadith. When we studied philosophy, those who came to the course philosophy, the philosophers hit religion from these sort of things, because religious people try to give fixed meaning about Allah Azza wa Jal, and while they shouldn't, and they straight away clash with philosophers. So philosophers will come and say, why is this, why is that? We came across all their thinking. وَاصْبِرْ لِحُكْمِ رَبِّكَ فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا. Again, be patient with the ruling of Allah, of your Lord, because you are under our eye supervision. We are keeping an eye on you. Keeping an eye on you doesn't mean that there's an eye coming sat on you or something. Keeping an eye on you is more metaphoric. وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي, he said to Musa, وَلِتُصْنَعَ عَلَى عَيْنِي will be brought up under my eye supervision. Which is eye? Left eye, right eye? I can't say. أَعْيُنِنَا هنا, here is a three or more, because in Arabic there's one, there's dual, there's one only, there's dual, and there are three or more. So you have mufrad, muthanna, and jama'. Muthanna, dual. And only Arabic language cater for that, because I've been teaching my grandchildren Arabic, and you is a bit muddling in English, because you could be for one person, for male or female the same, for two or one the same, for three or more the same. So you have to add to it to give it more meaning. All of you, the two of you, you yourself. You just need to emphasize something else. So this is, if you take the Arabic language, ayon means 3 to million, zillion, trillion. We don't know. I mean, this is why we have to stop. It's all Allah, all of Him eyes. Can't. Now, somebody trying to speak, and you can ask question. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. Also, this one of the problem they have, that when they try to give Allah Azza wa Jalla an organ, it's either a sense or a body. When they give Him a body, they clash with something else. When Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, He is with you wherever you are. Now I go to the loo, is Allah with me? They take Allah as a body. You say, no, you say haram. No, it's not. Allah with us with His knowledge. So they add something Allah didn't add. Allah didn't say, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ بِعِلْمِنَا. He didn't say we're closer to Him, closer to them than His own jugular vein with our knowledge. He didn't say that. He just said, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. We're closer to Him than His jugular vein. وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ. He didn't say with His knowledge. So Wahhabi, because they give him a body, they add the word bi'ilmihi. So He's with you bi'ilmihi, with His knowledge. But Allah didn't say it. So they twist a lot of ayahs in the Quran to keep the body, while Ash'ari, he'll free himself from that. It makes it much easier for you to say Allah knows what He meant. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. Then they go, has He got ears like us? Has He got ears but not like our ears? He has ears of a God. We have ears of a man. You don't need to go through this, because you put yourself in more mess than if you use Tafweed. When it comes to Zatillah, the personal Allah Azza wa Jal, His personal existence, you have to use Tafweed most of the time. You can't use Taweel, because Taweel even make it difficult for you. So this is وَكَانَ اللَّهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. Basira, seeing. With what? With His eyes. Then you put back yourself into more trouble. وَقَالَ لِمُوسَى وَهَارُونَ عَلَيْهِمَا السَّلَامُ إِنِّي مَعَكُمَا أَسْمَعُ وَأَرَى. I am with you, hearing and seeing. Asma'u wa ara. So he's chasing them. But when he was talking to Musa, he said to him, Adallahum Samiri, I tested you people, and they failed the test, and the Samiri misled them. So Allah is in the two places at the same time. So he has too many eyes stretched across the universe. So that makes it ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. So you just say, use Tafweed. Allah knows what he meant. He said he has eyes. He has eyes. I don't discuss how, where, how many, whatever. I just stop short from interpreting what he meant, and we use Tafweed. فأخبره تعالى عن سمعه وبصره ورؤيته. So we confirm that he hears, confirm that he sees, we confirm that he has eyes, hands, face, ساق. When you look into يوم يكشف عن ساق, there's a hadith when Allah Azza wa Jalla asked Jahannam, هل امتلأت فتقول هل من مزيد, are you full? And Jahannam said, no, I can't take more. And the hadith told us, the Prophet said, until Ar-Rahman put his foot in it. And Jahannam will say, qat, qat. So he put his foot, doesn't mean that Allah has a foot. When he said, وَيُكْشَفُ عَنْ سَاق, doesn't mean the saq of Allah, the leg of Allah. No, because Allah knows what he meant. Allah brought the meaning to us, and that's it. We understood, that's it, fine. I've got the message. So that's where we stop in Aqeedah Ash'ariyah. There's a lot of fight against Aqeedah Ash'ariyah by the Salafi now, especially the Wahhabi. And they talk about it on radio, on TVs, and they make them unbelievers. They look into Ash'ari and say, oh, he's not Muslim. So because the Aqeedah Ash'ariyah exposed the Wahhabi, and they're failing. And subhanAllah, they're crumbling, not because of only Muhammad bin Salman, but because of the Aqeedah didn't survive in the Muslim world. And rejected it. I mean, you go anywhere in the Muslim world, they don't like Wahhabi. They just no, keep us away and whatever. And when they adopted these ideas of Qaeda and Daesh and things, the Wahhabi themselves started saying, no, they are different than us, with the same mentality, the same items in the nullifying the belief, Mukaffirat al-Ashra, the 10 things which make you kafir, which wrote by Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab. They applied by Qaeda. They teach it every day in their meetings and in their training. And they say, no, it's not us. But they're learning Wahhabism in Qaeda, Daesh, and things. So he's saying here, وَنَفَى جَهْمِيًّا أَنْ يَكُونَ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى وَجْهٌ. Jahmiyyah said, no, he hasn't got a face. And they said he hasn't got hearing and seeing and eyes. وَوَافَقُوا النَّصَارَى. They agreed with the Christian that to the Christian, they didn't have confirmation Allah hears and sees. They take it as he's aware of it, aware of things. And they said Allah alim. نقول إن الله عالم. He is aware of it. This is similar to Wahhabi. With his knowledge, he knows what you're doing. He didn't directly hear you. He knows. He didn't directly see you. إني معكم أسمع وأرى. I'm with you, seeing and hearing. They added with his knowledge. That's in a way denying Allah's hearing and seeing. So it is quite serious when they use the word bi'ilmihi. And they throw it on you straight away when you say Allah is, bi'ilmihi. I was listening to somebody explaining Usul al-Fiqh, and he was saying that Mujassima are out of Islam, and then he said that means that he's saying Allah is with you in the toilet, Allah in the sewage, Allah is this and that. And I said to him, because in your mind you still have terseem, making Allah has a body. So you need to be in A place and B place and C place and move from A to B to C. So when you have a body, you have difficulty looking into. And the best answer was from our scholars, mashallah. I mean, Fathi Safi was a late scholar from Damascus. He went to Hajj and he died 2 or 3 months ago, 4 months ago in Syria. He said he was in Hajj teaching, and Wahhabi came to him and he asked him about Rahman al-Arsh istawa, Allah Azza wa Jal dominated or sat on the Arsh. What is the meaning of that? And he said to him, before Allah created the Arsh, and before Allah created all this universe we see, where was Allah? Where was he sitting? So when you say that he sat on the Arsh, where was he sitting before the Arsh? So Allah doesn't need to sit. He is not sitting. He's holding the Arsh. They give us example in schools. It's more like it's not a hadith. I think just bring the idea to our mind that those who carrying the throne, وَأَحْمُرْ عَرْشَ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ فَوْقَهُمْ ثَمَانِيَةٌ, that 8 will carry the throne of your Lord. And they say to us, these who thought will be finishing in 10 minutes, are telling me here, there's 10 minutes left. When they thought they got tired from carrying the throne, they left the throne and they fell. So the throne carrying them. So Allah carrying the throne more than the throne carrying Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, Allah yumsiku samawati wal arda an tazula. Allah gets hold or keep the heavens and earth in existence. Otherwise, they will vanish, disappear. I think in one of our study circles, we're looking into the physicists who think of the Higgs boson is the lambda, this on the scale and the graph it shows the slump, and they think this holding all the particles of the atoms together, because they divide the particles into up, down, down and up, and so many lambda, whatever. They have a lot of, they discovered there are 23 or more particles of the atom, the subatom structure, and they couldn't find what's keeping them in together. And Higgs brought the theory in 1962, and it wasn't proven until 2012 when they sensed there is lambda. And they called it at that time when they discovered, they said this is the particle of God which keeps the universe in existence. Because for them, what keeps this universe there, because gravity is not enough, especially between the galaxies, there must be something there. And they came with the dark power and dark energy and things. So Allah Azza wa Jal is keeping.
What does, sorry, Doctor, what does lambda mean apart from, I know lambda is a symbol, what does it actually mean?
It's not lump, it's that lump, not lambda, lump. When they show you the graph, how they discovered that's the Higgs boson, because when they hit the particles, there was something appeared for a fraction of seconds and showed on the graph, and they said that's a lump. That's a Higgs boson which is holding these particles together, because when they hit the I think the protons, they hit with them in the circle in CERN in Switzerland, yeah, in CERN. It's quite a long, how long? 20 miles circle, and they accelerate the particles until they crash, with each other, and they make this collision. And this collision, they think, is to split the subatoms from each other, and they say this is what they discover. It's beyond our understanding, because it's very deep physics things, but they say this is what's keeping them together, keeping the particles of the atom together. Otherwise, they will go. There won't be any proton or neutron. There will be no matter. They will all go and vanish and disappear. In the Quran, when we came across the ayah, and Allah yumsiku samawati wal arda an tazula, Allah Azza will keep the heavens and earth from disappearing, vanishing. When Allah Azza wa Jalla, Day of Judgment, Allah had said, يَوْمَ يُبَدِّلُ الْأَرْضُ غَيْرَ الْأَرْضِ وَالسَّمَاوَاتِ. When Allah Azza wa Jalla will replace this earth and all the heavens to a new earth and heaven. So Allah replaced them by new existence. And then in Jannah, لا يذوقون فيها شمسا ولا بردا ولا شمسا ولا زمهريرا. There are no suns in Jannah. وأشرقت الأرض بنور ربها. There won't be any suns in Jannah, because suns will lose the heat and vanish, while Allah doesn't vanish, doesn't disappear. So Allah will make the Jannah enlightened by a light He create, or He make exist without burning something we don't know. It's new things Allah will create, replace the current physical existence of the universe by a new physical existence. This is why all of us, we have to die and recreate it again, because we will have a new body who will be immortal. We will never die, will never age. So when it comes to that, Allah Azza wa Jal is beyond the imagination of man. This is why you have to avoid imagining, because our scholars say, ما خطر ببالك فالله خلاف ذلك. Whatever comes to your mind, Allah is something different. Because لا تدركه الأبصار. No vision encompass Allah Azza wa Jal, no understanding comprehend Allah Azza wa Jal. This is why His name is Allah. Ma'lu means in Arabic also puzzling. What Allah is. It's so mysterious what Allah is. Allah is, like some Christians say, Allah ran His universe in a mysterious way. Mysterious to you. Allah showed us how He ran the universe in Surah Al-Kahf, when Al-Khudr did things against the understanding of Musa alayhi salatu salam. Musa objected when he damaged the ship, when he killed the boy, when he mended the wall. Allah did things, He does things like now. I mean, the virus is so puzzling that people created a lot of conspiracy theories. There must be this, must be that. And the last one theory I heard, that there is agents who are beyond governments killing everybody who try to find a cure to the virus, because this sinister agency wants this virus to continue. I mean, even when you see Trump's behavior, taking hydroxychloroquine as prophylaxis, he's so puzzled with this. I mean, he's obviously, it's not generated by America or China, and is definitely not man-made. It seems that it's Allah made in all the aspect of it. Like G5 produced this virus, like the lab in America sponsored a lab in China to produce the virus. There were articles appeared in 2003 and 2006 telling that will be a virus in the year 2020. 2020 is a nice number. People will 2020 vision, whatever. So Allah Azza wa Jalla probably made them get that right, and probably is heading to 1 million, because they said there will be 1 million deaths at that time. Even if they say they made the virus, they will not guarantee 1 million. Probably Allah Azza wa Jalla put that in their mind, and they wrote it in books. There will be a virus who will spread in 2020, will kill 1 million. Are we heading towards 1 million? Because now 300,000 died. And now more and more dying in Brazil, and still more dying in America. We don't know how many is dying in India and Pakistan, and all the figures are hidden in Russia now. So when you come to the Aqeedah is very finely written and explained by our major scholars, like, Aqeedah Maturidi or Ash'ariyya, is very finely tuned that it's subhanAllah in the 21st century, and we can answer everybody without any faults. They can't fault us. They cannot come and say, oh yeah, this is not, doesn't make sense what you say, it doesn't add up. And so we have that, alhamdulillah, in the Aqeedah Ash'ariyya. When they twist the Aqeedah, this is why Ibn Taymiyyah was banned from the scholars at his time from giving fatwa. They said, no, you're not qualified. You can't give fatwa while you have these beliefs in your mind. You need to get out of it. Tajseem Allah, giving Allah Azza wa Jalla his body and giving people a chance to project. Because the communists used to say it's God is man-made. It's man-made God. If God doesn't exist, man would have made him, because they see people projecting on God from their mind. The Hindu gave God a shape and an existence, and the Buddhist the same, and the Christian the same, and they carry the cross, and this is God and things. They just project from their mind into what God is. Muslims stop short from not giving Allah Azza wa Jal anything generated by their mind, because you are created by Allah Azza wa Jal. You can never know. Isa, Day of Judgment said, "تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك. إنك أنت علام الغيوب." So I don't know what's in your mind. I can't have any access to who you are, what you are. You're just telling us what we need to know. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I call you by all the names which you named yourself, which we know some of it, and which you kept for yourself. You didn't tell us other names you have.